Hello, First Baptist Huntsville. This is Jeremy Stallnecker with the Mighty Oaks Foundation, and I'm sitting in my home studio today recording some different things for our organization. But I wanted to stop quickly and say hello and tell you how excited I am to be with you on May 25th. That is Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to have a wonderful time together. I feel very honored to be able to spend this time with you. As you know, this is an important weekend, a very important holiday, as we remember the sacrifices of the men and women who've gone before us, those who gave their lives, paid the ultimate sacrifice that we could enjoy the freedoms that we do. Very, very important time, and I am excited to be able to spend that time with you. We're going to talk about Memorial Day, what it means, why it's important, and how we can live our lives in light of the sacrifices made by others. Again, very excited to be with you this Memorial Day weekend, Sunday, May 25th.
Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us.
What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas. Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
I don't think we was ready.
What if people talk like that? My little girl starts crying. Did your little girls, when they would cry, would they ever make like weird noises in the middle of the crying when they were younger? Like they'd be like, ah, the little tongue, the poor little tongue really, like the cartoons, it really does that. You know what I'm talking about? Like the whole mouth and the tongue, it like waves like a water ripple.
Yeah.
It really does that. And
I don't think so. I don't think I remember that.
You don't recall? You're all serious about it. It's a very serious morning here.
I mean, it's literally, it's been hours since one of the girls have cried.
Billy, you were like this. I don't recall. It's gone.
Some of that mess you just kind of delete.
Well, little Braylon, poor little thing, when she gets on a crying fit, boy, she gets on a crying fit. And her little mouth, it's like the cartoons, man, it really is. But then she started this thing where in the middle of the crying, she'll go, oh, and And so you're over there like, boy, I don't miss those days.
Does that mean that's like the halfway mark? Or?
Yeah, I hope, man. But she was doing that last night or yesterday on our way home. There was something, I forget what it was, man. There was something going on. Oh, it was her dress. She didn't like the way that her dress was when she got into the car seat. And I said, well, sweetheart, it's got to be like that so I can buckle you up. There's no other way to do it. And when the little ones latch onto something, they don't let go of it for a while. Mm-hmm. So she latched onto this idea that dress was super uncomfortable. Even though she wears dresses every day and sits in the car seat. But yesterday evening was the day she decided to latch on to that. And in the middle of her crying, she was going, ah, and then she goes, and so I started making that noise while I was driving. And so I was sitting here, Billy, I got Caden laughing, and he's happy as all can be. And then Braylon's just going nuts while I'm driving. And I had their windows down. I thought that would calm her down. Caden loved it.
Was she upset that he was not upset?
Maybe she was trying to get him upset.
Yeah.
So I literally started going, woo, woo, like that, and then she stopped crying. She looked at me like, what's wrong with you, Dad? And I told her, I said, Braylon, that's what it sounds like when you're doing that. And then she stopped altogether, and that was it. So it was good fun, man. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying the dad journey. It's hard, man. I was talking the other night. So this is and I don't mean this in a negative way. I really don't. But this has been, especially these last few months, have been the hardest season of my life. And I mentioned on this show a while back, man. Some days, man, it feels like everything comes against you. But I figured it out. What it is you get into this mindset that everything's coming against you, when in reality maybe it's only 2 or 3 things. But it feels like everything is, but it's been, Bridget's job, and my poor wife is just working her tail off, man. And we're thankful she has a great job, and they're taking good care of her. But it's that nursing business. My goodness, I've always respected nurses, Billy, but
that's a full-time gig, right?
Oh
there.
man,
yeah.
And it was so cute this morning because Braylon knows where Bridget's work is because we go down Veterans Memorial, and she always goes, "Mommy's work, Mommy's work." And this morning when we were driving, it's so cute how kids ask questions because they'll really enunciate the end of it. Like if you ask someone a question, "Hey, Billy, how are you doing?" When a kid asks it, "Hey, Billy, how are you doing?" That question mark comes up. And she was driving. I looked in the rearview mirror, or I was driving, looked in the rearview mirror, and she goes, "Daddy, does Mama save people?" I said, "Yeah, baby, she saves people. She helps people from being sick and makes them comfortable." That's exactly what she did. But that was the cutest thing. That warmed my heart this morning. And so it started making me really think about my wife does a lot for our family. She sacrifices a lot, and I hate that she has to work. But that's just the way it is right now, And one day I'm hoping that can change. But I was thinking about that the other night, Billy, how society has changed so much. Back in the 40s and 50s, it's the man could go to work and support his family with, I don't want to say virtually any job, but a lot of jobs you could. And now things have gotten so expensive and so tough that you got both your parents working. And it really creates a lot of stress, And I apologized to Bridget. I said, I'm sorry that and it's nothing here. I mean, they take care of me here at the church and with Hello Huntsville. I mean, we're doing good. But the problem is there's just so much going on in the world nowadays that man. I mean,
there's so much more to pay for now than there was back then. There's everyone in your family's got to have a cell phone and then internet and satellites and
they got to have their own satellite up in space.
Yeah, man.
And I was talking to somebody one day.
Cable, all that mess. It's just so much more than before.
Somebody the other day, and they weren't meaning it judgmental. They were trying to give me some advice. But, we live out in the back part of Elkins, and there's this mantra that Elkins is an expensive neighborhood. Well, in reality, it's from where we came from, it's a lot less, honestly. We were thankful. But where are you going to find – you can't find any place anymore under $2,000 a month if you were renting. I mean, if you were single. If you were single and you could get away with a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, I used to pay, I think it was $750 a month over at the Elks Apartments. And it was fine for me.
What?
Yeah.
$750?
Is that expensive?
for those?
It was like $750.
Wow.
By the time I left, when I started, it was $6.
Wow.
But to me, that was affordable because, man, when my first apartment that I ever had in Georgetown, and we're talking, Billy, 2003, my very first apartment that I had was like $1,400 a month. That was in 2003. And that's why I bought my house young, because I had a real estate agent friend, and she's like, there's this perfect house on 3/4 of an acre of property out in Serenata. Serenata was kind of like back in the day, the Elkins of Huntsville, I guess you could say. And I said, there's no way I can afford that. And she goes, yeah, actually you can. And I said, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, you told me what you're paying for your apartment. I said, yeah. And she goes, buddy, your house is going to be $500 a month cheaper than that. And she was right. My mortgage back then was $900 a month for a house. And I ended up buying that house, I think it was in 2006. And that was my mortgage when I first started out. And that house was $114,000. And then we turned around and sold it 14 years later for $265,000. The investment company put like $80,000 into it and flipped it for $450,000, which I wish I would have had money to put into it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even it was an old house, good old house, man. So I think a lot of it is just the way things are now. And my grandmother told me years ago, she said, buckle up, because it's not easy anymore. And she goes, it's really never been easy. I think every generation, you live in your own world, right? And so to you, what you perceive is not good, maybe easier with the next generation, because they look back and be like, man, that would have been easy. Look at what we're dealing with, you know? So anyways, that's Rob's Friday thought here. Got any feedback, Billy?
We're not strong enough to make it on our own. We need a word of encouragement. Please didn't.
Hey, we're here. Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of Good Morning Huntsville. Let us know your thoughts this morning. What's on your mind? Kind of a free-flow Friday, if you will, here on the show. We don't have any guests, but we are here. Let us know a couple of things that may be on your mind this morning, and we'll interact with our audience this morning on episode number 513. Big thank you to Elliot Herzik from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com. And, of course, we could not be here on this Faithful Friday without the generous support of the best of Huntsville, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
The Reader's Choice Awards and Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, the best when it comes to taking care of your families and your loved one. Voted the best by the community, and that is a great honor. Billy, I was thinking about this morning a lot of familiar faces that we have on this program and on our platform, and people that you see in the community, not just here, but in the community, that picked up awards. Karen Denman, who's with us on Mondays, alternating with Walker County Federal Credit Union, voted Best Loan Officer. Tomorrow's Promise, Best Child Care. You guys, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, you guys won the Best Funeral Home. Magnolia Kennel, who they're not sponsoring, but she's very active with us. They helped us for a while, and we still just think the world of Steph. They won Best Kennel in the area, so that was good. So it's good to see a lot of familiar friends and faces. Did you get to go to the lunch yesterday or whatever it was?
I did. I was the only one from the funeral home that could go. So.
And is that pretty packed when they do that? Is there a lot of people there?
Yeah, there was quite a few people there.
That's cool. What'd y'all eat?
I didn't eat. I wasn't standing in that line. It looked good. It looked great, but I refused to
partaketh. Well, it was good, and I love seeing there were so many good friends that had won awards and stuff, and some people taking home multiple awards, and that's great. I mean, a lot of really. I was really happy to see Tax Express and Nancy Reeves. Nancy's one of those salt of the earth people. And so that was cool to see her on there. And there's many others. Well, you and I were talking about, I guess the official list of all the winners doesn't come out until later in a magazine. We used to have a similar program in Georgetown that the city put on. The city did it for years. And when they would do it, they had like a gold, silver, and bronze awards that they would give out. So it was like voted Georgetown's best, gold, Georgetown silver, Georgetown bronze for each category. And but when they would announce it, they would do kind of a similar type deal. Gala, the mayor would usually show up, and the mayor would help present the awards and take pictures as well. But they would put out a whole list like right away as soon as that event was over. So it was really neat to see that, and it's neat to see on social media. That's how we keep up with it, with everything popping up on there. So it's pretty cool. I wanted to mention too, last night really neat was over at Casa last night, and Kim Weezer and Laura Green, all the great staff over there, they revealed the Sketches to Sparkles jewelry design winner last night. It was a young girl named Brazelyn Trevino. That's Paul Trevino's daughter.
Oh,
She's
okay.
12 years old. She won. She designed a dragonfly. We put that up on our website late last night. And if you go to HelloHuntsvilleTX.com, you'll see that there. But they were so moved by another entry. You know, normally it's just one person wins or one child wins. There was a little girl last night. This one teared you up because she drew a picture of a heart and for her design. And all that the comments said describe this is she said, I drew this for my mom because she's battling cancer.
Oh, wow.
And Elliot has such a generous heart that he said there's no way that we could just pick one this year. And so he's designing 2 pieces of jewelry, one for Brazelyn, who won, and then for the other young lady who came in second. That was just...
Sounds like Elliot to me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that, man. And
Man's got a heart of gold and a sack full of diamonds.
Well, and this isn't Elliot, but someone once told me they were talking about somebody said, well, he had used to drink quite a bit, and he doesn't drink much at all anymore. But someone had told me, this was someone that I knew, and there was a really nice man. They said, well, he's got a really good heart, but boy, he's got a bad liver. So, well, Billy, what's up with you, man? I know y'all got a pretty cool day planned today.
We do. Our church, we're taking the graduating seniors. We're taking them on a fishing trip. So getting the boat ready and going to hit the water and watch those boys attempt to catch a fish.
Turn it. Do you get to fish, or do you just kind of?
Oh, I got my little fishing pole with me. Somebody's got to catch something.
What kind? You know the fishing pole that I have. I bought one long time ago, and I found it when we had moved finally, and it's up. I found one. I found it when we moved, but then the other day I was thinking I need to get my children some. They got them little ones, them ugly sticks. Have you seen them? Mm-hmm. Are those any good? Do you know?
You know, the pole to me is not where it's at. It's the reel. And, of course, you know, like my son James, he's got all the open face pin reels and all the fancy stuff. And, man, I got the Zebco 404 with the push button in the back. and I love it because, like, when I was younger and all my buddies, we would go fishing, and they'd be in the boat with their fancy open face reels and all that mess. And, again, I'm back there with my little push button, you know. And I'm just steadily casting and catching, and they're all over there going, backlashed again. I'm like, well, how do y'all get any enjoyment out of that? If at every third or fourth cast, you got to stop what you're doing, pull all the line out, get the knots out, pull it all out, and then bring it back.
Yeah.
No, I don't get a lot of downtime. So yeah,
you better make the best of it, buddy.
Yeah. So like when I cast my little cheap Zebco 202. Just because it goes, like when you cast yours and you go 100 yards and mine only goes 98 yards, but it works every time, I'm going to take that.
Yeah, every time, man. I found I was cruising the other day.
And before somebody jumps on here with comments, if their reel's backlash and they have something set wrong, I don't care. Not my problem.
Yeah.
The button on the back works every time.
I used to. I knew a guy. My grandmother had a neighbor. My sister's joining me. She'll be able to correct me. I can't remember if it was. I think it was. It's either Petrosky or Matrosky. I can't remember if it was an M or a P. You know, one of those names. Mm-hmm. I think it was Petrosky, Mr. Petrosky, next door. That's it. That had to be Czechoslovakian, right? That sounds like a Czechoslovakian name. Petrosky. Sounds like something you'd have them enjoy on the weekend. I'm gonna go have a Petrosky. But
hey, if you're at home and you don't have anything else to do,
my grandpa made me, or he gave me when I was young a bunch of fishing weights, and I asked him where he got them from, and his neighbor used to make them, mm-hmm. And he had a mold, and he'd pour lead in them, and he'd make those weights, those fishing weights, and I wish I still had those because I had no idea whatever happened to those things. But it was, I don't know, man. I remember seeing those when I was younger, and I thought a lot about that neighbor. He ended up passing away, but he was a really, really nice man. My grandpa, my sister was mentioning this a while ago, my grandpa used to just fish with a bamboo stick. We'd go get him at the San Gabriel Park and just get bamboo, and my grandpa could catch anything. That's all he'd use. He'd just throw a little fish and then just throw it out there on the bamboo stick.
That's how they taught us to fish, was on the cane poles. But of course, I was always a little excited when I would catch one. And my dad worked for a guy named James Ferris. Like, he would do all of Mr. Ferris was flipping houses back in the 70s and 80s before flipping was a term.
Was cool, yeah.
Yeah, he was a real estate agent. He would buy these old houses. My dad would go in and fix them up. Mr. Ferris would sell them, It was great partnership. But Mr. Ferris had a piece of land, had a big lake, and it had like a point on it that had like a bunch of pine trees. Mm-hmm. And we would sit under those pine trees and fish. Well, if I wasn't careful, I'd get excited with that cane pole, and when I caught a fish, I would rear back with that pole, and I would wind up launching that fish into the trees. So,
well, it's neat how we look back and we can reminisce, and I'm so thankful about memories. I really am. I was talking to my mom the other day.
At the end of the day, that's all you got, man.
That's all you have, man. And I'll be honest, there's some days I look back and, man, you can feel the weight of depression settling in when you start thinking about some things of the past. But then you have to remember, and this is why you got to be mindful. Maybe here's the inspiration this morning, is be mindful about what you're thinking about. And what do I mean by that? When you have a thought come back, maybe it was a loved one that you lost. You guys are in the business. Mm-hmm. You see it every day. But when you go back and think about those that have came and went, such as my father, or a friend. Many of us have lost a friend or a parent. But I don't, and especially my grandma, I think about my grandmother every day. Be like, boy, I miss my dad too. I love my dad. I miss him tremendously. And I miss my grandma too. And I think about both of them every single day. But, it's like I'll go back and I'll think about the times, the long conversation that my grandmother and I had when I drove from Texas all the way to Arkansas, and I was on the phone with her almost the entire trip. And I just remember us talking about nothing. She was talking about her growing up, and I was talking about different things that I like to do. And that was one of the best literally, I was on the phone with her like 5.5, 6 hours. I mean, we were on the phone forever. And I started thinking about that the other day, and the immediate thought was, man, I really miss that. And I started getting depressed thinking about it. But then I had to take control of my thought and turn it around and say, I'm thankful I've got that memory of her. And maybe that's the encouragement this morning for many of you, is when you get wrapped up in that thought, don't allow the enemy to bring depression into your life. Change that thought into being grateful for the time that you had, and be thankful that you have that memory of that person. Because like you said, that's all we've got now. Mm-hmm. When we lose somebody, we may have a phone, we may have a picture or a video or something like that, but it's the memory that we can hold on to. And I don't know, man. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. That's
why they call them precious memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever, weren't those figurines too, the precious figurines? You remember them things?
Yeah.
Precious Memories.
Yeah, I think Alan Jackson's got a album titled Precious Memories.
He made it from those figurines.
Yeah. Wasn't that like the little glass angels and stuff or whatever? I think Jacqueline had some of those.
There were those, and I think weren't there some woodcut ones? Remember those little the wooden ones that you could buy? I mean, well, I don't know.
You could buy. I never bought them.
Yeah. You know what my favorite thing was growing up? My grandmother, I forget if it was in an oatmeal, the oatmeal box, or if it was a cereal box, but you could get one of those. On the back of it, you could order Norman Rockwell posters. And my grandmother used to order us Norman Rockwell posters. You remember that guy, the artist?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. And nowadays, it's so funny. It's so funny how the world changes. Because now if you wanted a Norman Rockwell poster, you just go to Google and search for it and print it out. Boy, back then you had to wait shipping and handling, 8 to 12 weeks to get your poster in the mail, man. So
it's crazy. Yeah, you actually used to mail money in the mail,
Yeah. Did you ever take part of the there was a I don't want to say it was like a scam, but I guess you could say it was like this post office deal to where it was illegal. The post office, apparently you're not allowed to send cash in the mail. And that's why I wonder how Nielsen gets away with it, because they put $1 in there to take a survey. I don't know if you ever received those or not. Mm-mm. But there was this thing. It was a chain letter. And it would work if your name was always on the next list. So it said, hey, it was something about, here's $3, and then pass this on and put your name at the top to 10 people, and then you'll get back money. Get what I'm saying? It was like this thing, and some people were cashing in huge off of that. But they were cashing in because they made sure that their name was always at the top of that thing, and that if they sent it out to 50 people and they got 25 back, I mean, they'd get a bunch of money back. And then the key to it was that if you received it, you don't ever send anything back. So those were fun days, Billy, back in the day. So, All right.
Remember, like back in the day, if you didn't like somebody, you could send them a bunch of junk magazines.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
What would you do?
Inside magazines, there were the little cards, like for subscriptions or whatever, and you could write someone's address on there and then just check all the boxes of all the different magazines on that card. And the next thing you know, the kid down the street you didn't like is getting GQ magazine.
Oh, that's funny, man. We used to sell magazines when we were kids. There was a company called Olympic. No, it was greeting cards. And I think, did I ever talk to you about this on the show before? Mm-mm. Yeah, we would sell greeting cards to and they would let us keep 50% of the money. And it was a really good deal because now people would write you checks, and if they wrote you a check and someone else paid you cash, as long as you kept 50% of the money, you were fine. If you got all checks and they would send you what they owed you at the end of it. If that makes sense. But you could keep 50% of it. And I remember walking around the neighborhood selling greeting cards and candy. That was like my first entrepreneurial thing. And I have no idea how we got turned on to that because my brother did it. I think my sister did it too, but I loved doing that. And there was a lady named Miss Truitt that lived down the street. And we'd always go to her house. And Miss Truitt would always say, I'm on long distance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so she'd slam the door.
Hey, that was a real thing, man. If you were paying that long distance.
Every time you'd go to her house, I'm like, my goodness.
You didn't tell her to dial 1010-811?
No.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
We
Call
were at the wind down deal. We were walking through an antique store, and I'm looking for the old telephone. Like, I want a red one.
Like the rotary or a push button?
Well, it could be a rotary or a push button, but okay. I want like the office style, but it's got to be red, like you would see like on the president's desk or something.
So
And it doesn't have to work, people. I just want the red phone to go on my desk. And walking around, and I saw a phone in there that had the 1010-811 sticker on it, and I'm like, Jacqueline, look, and she didn't remember that.
Oh. Yeah, I remember it was how you called collect. 1010-821 or whatever it was.
I thought you got a discount if you dialed that or something.
There was one
lower long distance rates or something.
There was another scam back in the day to where you could send your mail for free. Nowadays it may be more lucrative, but back then, I mean, stamps were what, 10 cents. Mm-hmm. People would write a letter. So let's say that I lived in Oklahoma, right? And you were in Texas, and I wanted to write you a letter, but I didn't want to pay for it. I would make up a fake address on the main part, and then I would put your address as the return address. And so
they would return it to
return it to you, and then you didn't have to pay for it. And I heard people doing that back in the day. I said, and that's a federal offense, man. You gonna play around with what is a stamp now?
Like 77 cents or something.
Serious?
Yeah, it's expensive.
The cheapest I remember stamps being, Billy, growing up was 29 cents.
They cost enough now to where if we have local stuff to pay, we just kind of bunch it and then we make our way through town.
That's ridiculous, man. Well, hey, let's take a quick break. When we come back, wanted to chat with a few things. You and I got to spend a little time downtown over the weekend. That was a lot of fun.
We did.
So want to highlight that. And
we spent a whole Saturday just goofing off.
Yeah. And I wanted to highlight that, but I also wanted to highlight some ideas, some folks that you ran into about a few things involving food. You know what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
So
all right.
We'll take a brief break. We'll continue it on. Hey, as always, we are here on this very faithful Friday. It's brought to you by Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. And listen, friends, it's something that no one ever wants to talk about, but the reality is one day we're all going to be called home. And make sure that you go by the funeral home and get your pre-planning done. Billy and the staff over there will take excellent care of you. You know, I was at a memorial service a few weeks ago, and it was the first time that I'd been involved in a service here locally, and I got to see what Billy was doing firsthand. I'm going to tell you, everything that Billy's talked about and said is exactly what he does. And I was talking to a lady the other day at an antique store that Billy had helped their family during their difficult time. And that person had nothing but just exemplary things to say about you, Billy, and about just the way you handle those families during their toughest time. And friends, that's what it's going to take. When you go through that, you're going to need somebody. You're going to need an organization, a local company that's going to say, you know what, we're going to guide you through this, but most importantly, we're going to love on you. Because I think during that moment, people just need some comfort and some love. And that's what you guys do.
You need someone who focuses on you and your loved one and your family, serving them, not just trying to impress you by all the people that we may have in common. That just drives me crazy. Let me handle it.
Let Billy handle it. New website coming soon. LetBillyHandleIt.com. That'd be a good marketing.
Hey, that's better than if you feel ill, call Bill. So.
Well, we'll take a quick break. Stay with us. More to come as we come back in just a few moments. As always, we are here, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. It's our family serving yours since 2002. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Wow! I got this great idea for a party! Not that kind of party! So I'm at this park with this huge stage. There was this guy playing music. I think he's playing Billy Gaither. Maybe it's Jimmy Clifton? No, definitely Brandon Lake. So the youth pastor walks up to me and asks, "Is this your first time with us, Mr. Hip?" "Yeah." This lady comes over and tells me about the activities. Blah, blah, bouncy house, blah, 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 grilling and refreshments. Sounds super fun. Our music leader goes on about how proud we are to have this event and have us all together. You know the food was good. I just realized there's one thing missing. You! So, that's my idea. Will you show up?
Billy, I just paid $10 for something, and I'm gonna try to get my money back on it because it's not working. It ain't working, buddy.
Turn my headset up some.
I've been waiting for that the entire day.
Well, I just figure at this point you would know.
I've been waiting the whole day to
I
say.
am hard of hearing. That's why people love me.
Well, no, I've been waiting for you to say, turn it up some. Well, this past weekend, a lot going on in our community. We were at the Clay Towsworth Memorial Ride, got to cruise all over the area down in Conroe, make our way back through Richards, Lake Conroe, too. It was really exciting. And then they had the Wine Down Whiskey Up event, and that was even a family-friendly event. I mean, even if you didn't have any wine or anything else, you could still go. Bridget and I went, and we only made it to, I think, 7 stores, though, because we were just flat out exhausted because we had the children with us.
Yeah.
But how far did you guys make it?
We made quite a few of them, but I got to thinking, not that we were, but there was other people that hit every store. That's got to be the most dangerous liability thing ever, to give these people wine and then let them stumble through your antique store.
Yeah, because you're right, because they put it, because you have to check in at the front with the owner, and then they put the tasting in the very back.
Yeah. Which, I mean, clever, because, for those of y'all that don't know, I enjoy a good antique something. So I did wind up buying some stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, Billy, I always liked you, but I knew there was a deeper connection here because, buddy, I'm an antiquer. You ever been over to Round Top or whatever it is?
All those.
Yes,
yeah.
I want to go there. I want to go there and stay for a weekend. But no, you had went to quite a few. There were some places you went. We didn't make it. The kids were going nuts.
We were trying to do the whole bingo thing, but one of the places we stopped, you have a card, and they put a sticker on it, or some places would stamp. And one place that had a really cool, they actually had the whiskey at theirs. They stamped our cards, but the ink
oh my goodness,
on the card would not dry. We were fanning those things, and then
they used a dry erase marker.
Is that what that was? Well, we got ink all over those cards, all over us.
Yep.
But I'm sure that establishment is very aware, and they will not be doing that next year.
Well, my kids had it all over their face, but it was still fun. It added to the memory, right? It made it a good memory. So.
And that was actually the first time I'd ever been in that store. And there's somebody in my family that has a birthday coming up, and they have quite the musical selection for small children in that store. And since Jacqueline won't let me buy the kid a drum set, I found an accordion, so I'm going to buy the kid an accordion.
Okay. Well, see, so this store that you're talking about, there were multiple stores that were using these dry erase markers then, because ours was right off the bat where we went. And and I'm not knocking the stores.
This was our second stop. So from then on, we were
inked.
Yeah.
But it was neat. Well, so you went over to Old Town Theater. You ran into some folks over there that know.
I did.
See, the word is getting out. I had someone the other day. Well, man, is the word really getting out? I posted the word. Quarter of a million views. I don't want to exaggerate because like old media used to. Well, 250,000 views. Whether it be our content videos, whatever, on Facebook. So, yeah, people are seeing. Eyes are getting on it. You ran into somebody that I didn't even know knew about us at Old Town Theater that said, you need to come do the Billy Costa.
Yeah, I mean, I know more than step through the door and, I'm like.
These folks.
Yeah, okay.
Did you know who they were?
I knew one of the people, but not the one that was asking me to come do the report.
Which I think we're going to rename it to the Billy Cawthon's Lunch Bunch. Is that okay with you?
I really don't care.
Do you like that?
Doesn't matter.
Or do you like the restaurant report?
I think Lunch Bunch is better. That way I'm not held to a higher standard of not being able to tell the truth of what I really think.
Well, just if it's the Billy Cawthon's Lunch Bunch, it sounds like, man, I'm going to lunch with a celebrity today.
Yeah.
By golly, I'm going.
I could get some 8x10 glossies or something.
You can autograph them there. We should do that.
Do you do an 8x10 or a 5? What size are those? We should check into that. We'll do that.
But it was neat. So this was what, Daisy's Diner, I think it was, wasn't
Daisy's Diner wants us to come, and then I had a very special request yesterday from a guy that I've known for a long time, and I'm sitting at that awards deal, and he comes up and he puts his hands on the table right there beside me and says, I need your help. And I'm like, oh, God, what do you need, man? I mean, we got to knock somebody off or something. And he says, you know that the new African restaurant on Montgomery? I said, yes, sir. And he says, I've looked at their menu. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? He's like, I want to try it, but I want y'all to try it first.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called, it's called the African Cafe, I believe, and it's right there on Montgomery next to that Comfort Inn they built. That's the name of the business.
Yeah, I'm not, like I told him,
I'd like to go try it.
I'm not against it. I'll try it.
Yeah.
And then, we can just stumble across the fence out back and go to the Elks Lodge.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Well, Michelle Cardenas, there's that over there at Kudos, that gas station, over there on 75. There was I think it was a Honduran restaurant that opened up. We went over there. I'm glad I had her because I didn't know what to order. And the food was really good. It wasn't bad at all over there. And I started thinking, Billy, there's so many places. The other day we were talking. We're not going to be able to do the lunch bunch today, unfortunately, because I know you got fishing, and I've got to head out. I've got to go to Crockett. By the way, if anyone wants to meet me here at the church at 10 a.m., if you're free today and you'd like to just get away for a few hours and help do a good deed, there's a very special lady up in Crockett that needs help with her home. I did manage to get a few people that are going to ride with me, but we could always use more. And so if you're free today at 10 a.m., just meet us here at First Baptist. We're only going to be gone a couple hours, and it's an hour there and an hour back, so it's probably going to be 3 or 4 hours, to be honest. But we want to go over there, and she just needs to move some items out of one room because the floor is starting to cave in her house. I don't know the condition of the home, to be honest. It sounds like it's in pretty desolate need.
Now, you said this is a pretty young lady, right?
No. This is an elderly lady.
She's, 92?
Yeah, something. I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, at 92 years of age, I think we need to chip in and help this young lady. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. If you're below 108, you're a pretty young lady. So
yeah.
So, no, she's an elderly lady, but she really needs help. The floor in her home, and they do have somebody, I believe, lined up to repair the floor, to put in a new floor.
They just got to move the stuff out of the room.
But yeah, and I was told, and the reason I think it's in pretty rough shape is because I was told that they're laying boards down for us, so we got to be careful as we walk through there. So, again, if you just feel that tug this morning and you're available and you don't have anything going on, 10 a.m. we're going to leave here at the church, and we just feel the Lord tugging at us, saying, "Hey, help this lady." One of our members here at church, it's her grandmother, and she needs help, and so we're going to go. So again, meet here at First Baptist Church 10 a.m. this morning. We'll head out, and if you don't want to drive, I've got a few extra seats. I'm going to toss the car seats, and as soon as we get off in about 10 minutes, because you got to go to the fishing trip, I'm going to go run to the car wash and vacuum out all the 6 months of kid stuff in the back seat of my truck.
All the goldfish and gummy snacks, and yeah,
it's not bad. But no, I want to go try both those places. But this is what I was getting at. You and I were mentioning the other day, like, man, we're running out of places. Billy, I started realizing there's a bunch of places that I've never been. There's a Mexican restaurant that as you're heading down, what's the road that is that still, that's Highway 30 or 11th Street where the Big E's is? Is that 11th? Right.
No, that's Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
You talking about right there on the right at Old Houston Road and?
Yeah. Okay. Let me back up where the Sunoco is.
Yeah.
That is Sam Houston, right?
That's Sam Houston.
And that eventually connects to.
It turns into 75.
To 75, yeah. And then there's that A1 Donuts and A1 liquor store that's right there. And if you keep going down, I think there's a Mexican restaurant there on the right.
There is.
I've never been to it.
It's part of the Lindos family.
Never been there.
Okay.
So, I mean, I started thinking, boy, and there's some food trailers here. Is the Shortstop hamburger still going?
Oh, is it? Yeah, we're keeping it in business.
Never been.
Well, you're missing out.
If you go to that, there's nowhere to sit in there, though, is there? Or is there?
There's a couple little tables.
So maybe we need to do
We always get it to go. I think Judith, I think she DoorDashes it. Not DoorDashes, but like, I don't know. She orders it online and we go pick it up.
Gotcha.
So, what was really neat, like you walk into that place and they have these slips of paper. They're about, like a bookmark to me. And it's got little check boxes, and you just, you check what you want. Do you want no cheese, American cheese, pepper jacks, whatever, and then what, mayonnaise, mustard, lettuce, tomato, whatever. You just check it and then write your name on it and hand it to the lady, and that's. So whenever you get your little styrofoam container, your little flip of papers like hanging out of it, that way you can confirm that that what you got is what you got. So yeah,
it's a Scantron. You have to go, and then it goes in.
Yeah, make sure that little notch out of the corner. Yeah, no, it's good. We probably eat there once a week.
I've never been over there, Billy.
And the lady that runs that little, I still call it a gas station. I guess they do sell gas. I don't buy gas there. I buy hamburgers there. But super sweet. Super, super sweet.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've been to that. I do want it. Now, this would be a drive, but as I was cruising through Richards during the Clay Towsworth ride, I think that's 145 or something, the highway that cuts
149.
149. Well, it kind of bypasses the little downtown area. Mm-hmm. And so I took a detour because I told Britt, I said, well, look at the map. There's a bunch of roads. This is downtown Richards. So I wanted to go just drive through there. And so I drove through there. Well, the first thing that I saw right away was Richards Grocery. Mm-hmm. And right under it said hamburgers. And I said, boy, those have got to be good.
I've ate a hamburger there once or maybe twice.
So I saw that, and I immediately called Jason, or I texted Jason. I said, what's up with these hamburgers? He goes, man, they're pretty good. And I confirmed with his daughter on Sunday that they are good. Anytime you see a little spot like that, hole in the wall, it's typically going to be pretty good. It's either going to be really, really good
or really, really bad,
or you're going to be sick for a month.
Yeah.
And this one was good. So there's a lot of little places around here that I never even thought of, Billy, that I'd like to just go check out and eat at.
There's a guy that I go to church with that was eating a hamburger there at Drifters, and I forgot to ask him on Sunday if that was any good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course. You were over there with us. Yeah, we cruised through. Did you make it to the end to where they drew the raffle and all that kind of stuff?
No, we had to leave right after we got back to the Legion.
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't obviously win anything.
Yeah, I asked Tara how the poker run went, and she said that she didn't know or something. I'm pretty sure I won it. They just didn't want to call my name.
Yeah,
I had 4 of a kind.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a bunch of clubs, and then I got I can't remember what they pulled when I got back to the Legion or whatever. But I'm not a poker player. That might not have been the best hand in the world, but I felt confident with it.
It's like I had a 2 of diamonds, a queen of hearts. I also had an ace of spades and a 4 of clubs. Boy, I felt great.
Hey man, I had all 5 cards, man.
I was feeling good, but then I realized it was gone. It was gone. By the way, I found that guy out from the commercial we've been joking around about.
Mm-hmm.
I really enunciated it. He didn't really say it that bad, but his name is Alan. He's a client testimonial. His name's Alan. So if you Google Alan Balance of Nature, he'll come up, and it's a different angle of him.
Oh yeah,
and it's a high definition, and he has on that railroad baseball cap. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go over there and go Google Allen Balance of Nature, and you'll figure it out. Well, Billy, before we go, and we don't have anything to give away today, so the viewership just plummeted whenever I made that announcement. We'll give away some stuff next week. I do want to mention just a couple of things that's important news, very important news that I think all of you need to know this morning. Number one, it is Friday. Yay.
Yay.
Billy
For you people that get the weekend off, enjoy yourself.
It was on this date that I won't even read that because some of this stuff you can't read. This is a good one. 1866. Charles Heinz invented what?
Ketchup.
Yeah, root beer.
Was it?
Yeah, Heinz root beer. Hires. Oh. See, I said Heinz. I should have said Hires.
Well, so you think, yeah.
Charles Hires invented root beer. Really, really neat. He was proud of his invention, but he wasn't sure if it would float, Billy.
Hey, in my house, we enjoy a good root beer. So,
and can you imagine the look on that guy's face? That not Hires, but the guy that he gave it to. He gives him a root beer, and the guy screams, "Hey, I thought this was beer." Well, it's root beer, buddy.
How many did he drink before he was like, I'm just not feeling anything?
It was on this date in 1891. Hormel. Okay, if I say Hormel, what do you think of?
The pepperoni.
Pepperoni? I think of meats when
Yeah.
I think of Hormel. Well, they introduced the world to Spam. Spam. I didn't even think of Spam. I just think of Spam as Spam. Pretty brilliant stuff. You can take everything that's left in the butcher shop, everything,
and grind it up.
Put it in a blender, and there you go. You're ready to eat it.
Hey, man, it's pretty awesome on a sandwich with a little bit of mayonnaise.
I'm fairly certain. I think what happened with Hormel and Spam, I'm very certain that I think it was part of a very, very serious farming accident. That's how I think that's how they discovered it.
I always figured it was what they cleaned out of the grinder when
Yeah, they scoop it out at the end. Hey, there's a James Cawthon in here right now. We got to pay that guy to show up.
I'm sure that's what he's here for, isn't it?
Happy graduation to James, by the way.
Yeah.
Graduating. Excellent young man.
Is that what you're wearing on the fishing trip? You are going to burn up, son.
You're gonna have to soak up in some sunscreen on them legs, boy. See?
Yes, the mothers of the group have already told me do not let them get sunburned because of senior photos.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's sunburn or if that's just something wrong with my skin. Isn't that weird? I think that's like a sunburn, isn't it, Billy? Is that what that looks like?
That's what it looks like.
Or it's just dry skin.
Put some lotion on that.
I need some balance in nature.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I said, you don't understand about my skin. It's gone. With my hat on from the
You need a railroad hat on.
The poor guy probably has a model train set that he's playing with. Honey, get out of here. My train, it's gone.
What's wrong with model railroading?
Nothing. My uncle was big into it, man. He's part of SAMRA, San Antonio Model Railroad Association.
Oh, my goodness.
He had a hat and everything. He said SAMRA on it. See, I know this, man.
We would always get the little set at Christmas that made the circle, like the oval. Woo, woo, and you'd play with it pretty much like that one day, and then it would break.
And then you were done with it.
Yeah, it broke. Yeah.
Think about this. Toys that people buy that they play with one time and throw away. Or they just lose interest. And this is why parents do not buy your little children all these gadgets because they'll play with them one time and that's it. It's like the other day in the neighborhood, I saw a little boy playing with this little helicopter, and then the thing hit a tree and fell to the ground and broke. Probably $100 helicopter. Done. Complete waste.
Well, that's because, we don't let Tonka make stuff anymore.
No. We let Jonka make it instead of Tonka.
See, there was Tonka, and then there was another brand like Nylent or something, and I had a little Nylent fire truck when I was a little boy, and you could throw that thing off a 10-story building, it'd hit the ground and still be just perfect.
Yeah.
That sucker was tough.
Not anymore, Billy.
No.
Today's National Mimosa Day. Karen will be happy. It's her day today. National Sea Monkey Day today. Also National Piercing Day, Billy.
That's two things I don't have.
I miss your nose piercing.
And sea monkeys.
So here's the deal. If you see a monkey today drinking a mimosa while getting pierced, that's going to explain everything.
It's got to be a sea monkey, though.
Yeah, but if you see that, that's gonna do everything. Megan Fox 39 today. Can't believe that. Megan Fox 39. That is somebody had said, well, that should be a holiday today. Her birthday should be a holiday. Not today. Don't really care. Tori Spelling 52. Rap singer Special Ed. Never heard of him. Turns 52 today. Janet Jackson 59. That's crazy to think.
She's only 59.
59, yeah. 59 today. Couple of things you need to know. Paul Allen, he's with Microsoft, and also and then he part owner of the Trailblazers. Well, his estate is up for sale. Will Nike's Phil Knight step in? He says he's no longer interested. He was interested in buying his estate at first. If you've got somewhere between $3.5 billion and $5 billion lying around, you could buy the Portland Trailblazers. So they are for sale. That is it. Boy, look at this. 16-ounce can of Bud Light or Michelob Ultra, $14.50 at the PGA Championship. $14.50. You have any interest in going to the PGA Championship?
Only if I can dress up like the players.
Yeah, you were the one that sent me that. That is the only sport.
Yeah.
Even the kids, man.
Could you imagine being at a football game and there's a guy that comes sits beside you with a helmet and shoulder pads and cleats on?
It's like they go out of their way to dress. We've talked about this before.
What are they dressing up for? Is it going to be like the Rudy thing or something like, hey, man, we need you to come in?
Do they carry like a little card?
Suited up, coach.
I wonder if they carry a scorecard in their pockets as well.
It's already been pencil whipped a little bit.
Couple last things, Billy. I know you got to get rolling. Dick's Sporting Goods, they're ponying up $2.4 billion to buy Foot Locker. Foot Locker is going downhill. They need to figure out a way to take the lock off of Foot Locker, but Dick's Sporting Goods is going to try to bail them out with $2.4 billion. Can Billy and I just have maybe $25,000 each? That's nothing.
Shit, let me hold something.
Yeah, just give us a little bit here. Morris the Alligator. Everyone has never heard of him before.
Everyone has never heard.
Everyone has never heard of him. 80 years old. He has passed away. 80 years old. Morris the alligator. Gone at age 80.
Just gone.
You don't understand. He worked at that zoo or whatever, and he goes up to his wife and comes home after a hard day, and she goes, well, how's Morris doing? And she goes, honey, you don't understand.
He's gone.
He's gone. While he's wearing his little Ranger.
What you gonna do when that Allen feller comes through that door with his railroad hat on and he's wanting to fight?
Boy, you're gonna be.
He's gonna get to me first.
He's probably low. He's probably from Houston or something.
Yeah, he's probably high on those pills.
I think the hat said Houston Railroad or
Yeah.
something. He's gonna come in here and be like, boys, y'all are gone.
He's gonna make a whoop ass trip up 45, and we're in for it then, man.
Well, Morris is gone at 80. He appeared in numerous TV shows and films over 3 decades, most notably. Oh, this was the.
Wait, was he the alligator from Happy Gilmore?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was the.
No.
Yeah, he was.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
I thought I was making it funny, but I'm being for real.
1996 Adam Sandler comedy Happy Gilmore. Blackberry. I didn't even. Oh no, Burberry. Never mind. I thought it said Blackberry, like the phone company. Burberry.
Kind of like you thought Heinz.
Yeah, instead of Hires. Burberry. Have you ever wore Burberry Brit cologne? It's the high end of Brut.
You get that from Timu.
Yeah. No, Burberry Brit's pretty expensive. But anyways, they cut 20% of their workforce, 1,700 jobs.
Whoa, hang on. They're 20% of their workforce was 1,700 people.
Oh, yeah.
So you mean to tell me they employ almost 100,000 people?
They employ quite a bit. Burberry Brit's a pretty big deal. Burberry is, yeah.
They only make the one brand? Or?
No, they do all sorts of clothing, I think, and all that kind of stuff. But the cologne is really good. See, James knows about it. Then finally, last here, did you know this? The average person thinks about taking a vacation 818 times a year. That's multiple times a day.
I do that every day.
Exactly. You do it probably twice a day. And then finally, 22% of Americans buy illegal fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July.
Where do you buy illegal fireworks?
You just call. You don't got a guy?
I don't have a fireworks guy.
You roll in about 2 a.m. to shady neighborhood. He rolls out with a shopping cart. Hey, man, what do you want?
That reminds me of that King of the Hill episode when they were buying fishing bait from a shady part of town.
All right. Well, hey, that'll wrap it up, friends. Appreciate all of you. Tara, by the way, said the food is great over at Drifters. I didn't have a chance to eat. I just got a popsicle for Caden.
Yeah, me too. I just had a popsicle.
Yeah. But no, as soon as we got there, they were so friendly. They said, would your son like a popsicle? They brought out one of them big old, I'm not talking
the old school popsicle.
Yes, big old.
And it was extremely clean there. Let's restaurant report that. It was extremely clean. They had the neatest little napkin things on the table, and the bathrooms were. It was a biker bar, but it was
the neatest little napkin thing.
Yeah, because like it's open. Like it's 3 sides of it are kind of like open, like doorways. So like the breeze is coming in, but they had these little metal trays with the napkins in them, and then it had like a floating, a smaller tray in the middle where you put your salt and pepper shakers, and the weight of the salt and pepper shakers held the napkins in place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, before we sign off, Billy, which one do you have on today? Which one is it? I'm on a
I don't know. I'm tucked in.
Oh, yeah.
And I reached down and grabbed for it, too.
I have a Ranzas pass on. I like this one, though, man.
Yeah.
And I figured out what this was day one. I love because I like
to roll it, yeah.
I love rolling up my sleeves,
Well,
man.
see, I always forget to apply sunscreen or reapply. So I'm like, if we're going to be out there today, I'm not.
Yeah. You don't.
And I'm going to tell everyone, one of them right over there, I'm going to tell every one of them before we get on the boat, put your sunscreen on. And if your mother has any you take that.
All right, here we go. Just real quick because
this is before and after photos.
No. This is hold on here. This is not what James Cawthon thinks. Hold on, James. Hold on. All right, hold on. Here we go. This is why. Okay, you ready for this, Billy?
Ready.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
There's a graduation guy. Hey, happy graduation there, James.
We're accepting $100 bills and checks.
There he is. And I'm going to leave it like that. See?
Help pay for that EMT school.
He said, Dad, hurry up and get off this show, man.
Yeah, man. I need that 20 to get my hair cut. Is that what you're here for?
Yeah. Gone.
Hungry.
Hungry boy. Y'all need to go get some Hormel Spam, buddy.
Oh, we love Spam.
Because once you put Spam, you got to cook Spam in a skillet. You got to put it
You got to get it
iron,
brown.
in an iron. And I'm going to tell you what.
Talking about cast iron.
Cast iron. And you know what happens in Alan's family after about 2 minutes?
It's gone.
It's gone. You don't understand, honey. I said it's gone. All right.
You need to find that commercial and play it. What we can play for the people that's never seen it. They're like, what are they talking about?
It's not.
We're gonna play the commercial and then we're gonna get off.
Yeah, we are. It's Alan, Balance of Nature, and the thing is, friends, I've really exaggerated how he says gone.
I don't think you have.
But well, I don't know if I say. I'll have to find it again. But he's there. I promise he's there. I'll find it later. Because why is some what is that, MRI machines coming up? Anyways, I'll find it later because we got to go.
We got stuff to do.
Hey, have a wonderful and blessed weekend. Go to our website, hellohuntsvilletx.com. Find out what's happening. We'll put out the newsletter a little bit later this morning. Billy, any final comments, man? Have fun today fishing, by the way.
I'm the captain today. I'm gonna make them treat me as such.
Do you have one of those hats
with the scrambled eggs on it?
You need to get a captain hat.
I do.
Wear that thing.
If anybody has one, they can drop off to me real quick.
Yeah, do it. Bring it over because Billy's about to be gone.
Gone.
Hey, y'all have a blessed weekend. Again, remember our friends at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. They are taking care of folks in this community, have had for many decades now.
Hey, maybe that's what I need to do.
What is that?
Like a fishing trip with every funeral.
Throwing a fishing trip. Hey, you never know. You never know. Because you get out there on the water and you forget about things and you just enjoy all of God's creation.
I mean, the other place tries to give you an ink pen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We could do that. We could. An ink pen and a fishing trip. Yeah, I like that. So
top that, suckers.
Yeah. No, for real, though, go by and see him over at Normal Park. Get that pre-planning done. And when that
5
time
minutes.
comes, and you can even do it online if you don't want to go in. Do it online. That'll wrap it up. We'll be back at it next week. Good week lined up. Oh, by the way, there is the Spring Festival, Hope Spring Festival going on at the Williams Ranch this weekend, tomorrow. So go out, support that. It's going to support First Touch family. Chrissy Cogdell's wonderful, wonderful person. And we'll put that out in the newsletter today. So we end every show reminding you we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own, Billy. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. And until then, good morning, Huntsville. God bless you. And so long. We'll see you back at it on Monday. See you, Billy.
See you.